I don't know what I would do without Acumen. I have been involved in it for a couple of years, and it's just filled a void with me. As a CEO, you've just got so many things that you have to keep your hand on, but the reality is a big business or a medium-sized business, there's things you have to do to be successful. And what I love about Acumen is the group of people are all committed to the same values and the same principles. And then we all recognize that you have to be hitting on all cylinders to be successful. And there's an accountability piece to Acumen like no other group I've ever been associated with. How do you treat your employees? What's your metrics? How do you arrange finances? How do you make basic business decisions? What's your meeting structure like? I mean, there are details, but then there are big issues, and every successful business has to make sure you're organized around them. Acumen just does a fantastic job with that, and the accountability of it to make sure that we don't just sit there. This is not a group where you just meet. This is a group that's very task oriented. And we have a cause for everything that we do and a purpose for everything that we do as a group, and the leadership and mentoring around that, not only from the leaders of Acumen, but also from the people who sit around the table who are peer CEOs. We're all driven for the same reason and purposes, and we hold each other accountable to make sure that we meet the standards that we're there to meet to advance our company. The one measure that everybody has that's the same is time. I can tell you that. We all have a set amount. It's what do we do with that time? And is it getting us what we need to get, and we're getting the most of our time? Are we making progress? The reality is a lot of us look at the here and now, and when you have an investment of time, you say, well, I should be doing this instead of that. But the reality is for a CEO, and especially as the group that we work with, my group, we all know that the time we invest in this strategy and sharpening the saw and in strategy and in organizing and in looking outside the box, looking at things from different perspectives, that time is time that we can never take away from. If we ever do anything that takes away from that time, I can guarantee you, maybe that week it will make you feel better, but in a month, in 3 months, in a year, it is that method, that investment in strategy and planning and collaboration, that is really what fuels the company and your life to go forward. So it's something that, just like exercise, just like eating, just like rest, just like everything else, it's something you have to make time for. And since you're working so far in the future with some of the things you do, it's the thing that you sometimes try to rob. But if you're a CEO, you know about looking out there in the future anyway. You're not going to be a CEO very long if you're not thinking down the road. And if you think down the road, you need to know that the most important time that you have to protect is this strategy time, this collaboration time, this real creative time. This is what you have to invest your time in now so that you have time down the road to do what you really want to do. Well, everything that we do as a CEO, we do have to look at the return on investment, and there's no difference when you're talking about Acumen. I feel personally that the return on my time investment, the return on our financial investment is amazing. I mean, the first thing with Acumen is you have to be able to measure your company. You have to have your metrics and the standards by which you yourself have defined success in your company, and once you have that, then all the efforts are measured by are you moving the stick forward and making and achieving the goals and overcoming the barriers to do that, and have you thought of all the things that you need to do to really make the difference that you would like to make. But then there's another side of it, and that's just the family side, the personal side. The recognition that return on investment has a lot of layers to it, and if your life isn't better, if your business isn't better, if your family is not better, then you know we're not collectively as a group and as leaders doing our job that we're supposed to do. So we're all measured by that, and we talk about it every meeting, and we're able to quantify what that means. Return on investment isn't a saying; it's an outcome.